this is Scott Perdue, and for FlyWire, we're in Phoenix, flying the BO-105 helicopter. It's an aerobatic helicopter. I'm going to go do some aerobatics with Scott Urschel. This is his airplane, helicopter, sorry. I'm an airplane guy, what can I say?
Yeah, you'll get it through that.
I can work through that. So anyway, we're going to go do some rolls and splittises and and loops and stuff like that in this. It's really exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Great, can't wait. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Thanks for taking me.
You're welcome. This is a fully rigid rotor, so there's no flapping hinge or lead lag. It's all done in the rotor blade itself. So the whole rotor system is a forged chunk of titanium. And that's what gives us the roll rate, the maneuverability. But we have a mass moment indicator here, and that's measuring the bending force on the mast.
Yeah.
So there's a strain gauge up in the mast.
Now I would think that taking care of all that slop blade, there would be pretty big bending moments.
There are, and you know, the majority of them are on the ground, because as long as the skids are fixed, as you move the stick, the mast will bend a lot. And so the limit of the reason for this is typically because of slope landings.
All right.
Because that's where your highest load is. When I do aerobatics, this will move a little bit, but you're not flying this like you do a extra edge or something. You know, it's gentle increasing rate to full, because you're trying to get the mass to accelerate, and you don't want the, as we're flying along now, like watch the rotor tip plane path. If I move the cyclic, see how much it moves?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Okay, well when I do loops, I want to go real gentle, and if you watch it, you'll see it won't move.
Yeah.
Because it's a gentle increasing rate to get the mass to accelerate, because I want to keep the fuselage perpendicular to the mast.
I think this is, I've never been much of a helicopter guy. It's opportunity more than anything.
Yeah.
And that time you let me fly when you brought the airplane, that helicopter you're picking up.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's, all the airplane guys I've taught have the same thing, especially fighter pilots, because they're used to, fine maneuvering, formation flying. They all do really well with it, because, basically flying formation is like hovering, right? I mean, you're basically not moving, right?
Yeah.
And you're not making big inputs.
But it's all the time.
It's all the time. And then you're used to looking in fairly close, where most people can't pick up the movement unless they look really far away. So, guys that fly formation and are fighter pilots have always done really well. This helicopter is super unique. There's all kinds of coupling between the flight controls in a helicopter. In a rigid rotor, there's much more than any other type of rotor system. So if I don't move the cyclic and I just lower the collective, put your hand on the collective and feel how little I'm going to lower it.
Yeah.
See what happens?
Yeah.
And if I raise it, just the opposite.
Wow.
Okay, now think about that. If I take and pull the helicopter up and roll it, and I get through about 90 degrees and I lower the collective, what happens? The roll rate increases. The nose actually pitches down, which is up.
Yeah.
And then you can use that modulation of the collective. So if you were to go out and just like experiment with this, it probably wouldn't end well, because you need to use the coupling of the flight controls to be able to
execute it. Yeah.
Execute it properly.
Yeah. On a steerman roll, it doesn't do anything but a slow roll. What you have to do is you get the nose up about 30 degrees, unload, and then it's full left rudder, left aileron, and then as it's slicing this way, the nose starts going about this way. You go top rudder.
Oh, to pitch the nose up.
Yeah, pitch the nose up, because otherwise,
it just falls through.
It's a 90-degree fall through. The split S is the normal effect of somebody doing roll for the first times in a steerman.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so you go top rudder, and then as you're rolling this way, you go forward stick, neutral rudder, and then you go top rudder again, but not forward stick anymore here, and then you recover here, and you'll be about 20 degrees nose low.
Wow.
And all of that. But that's what you do a loop. So it's actually very close to what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I get people wanting to know how to do it, and I'm real careful about what I post, because I don't want somebody to go out there and try it and try it, and I had guys go, oh yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, not what you think.
Yeah.
And we're also using the collective G off the helicopter, and we're using, so as we come out of a loop, you're actually using forward cyclic to unload the helicopter, and then up collective to start the lift. If you use aft cyclic and up collective, you would increase the angle of attack of the retreating blade so much that you could get retreating blade. And if you were doing low-level aerobatics, you have the risk of stalling the blade and rolling it in.
Right into the yeah.
So we're going to do it roll to the left. I'll use full left cyclic so you keep your knees a little wide. And you can check it out here. It's pretty cool. So we'll pitch up here.
It is pretty cool. It feels like an airplane, though.
It does,
yeah.
And the roll rate is pretty good.
Yeah.
For you know, I I fly a lot of airplanes. The T6 doesn't roll that good.
Yeah, it does.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty mild, you know. Do another one here. Lowering the collective. Now I'm raising the collective. So we'll do a split S here. Turn around.
And the turn radius is amazing.
As long as the airspeed is low,
yeah,
and the G is low. So you can feel there was hardly any G around
at all,
bending around the corner. So I'm trying to modulate the G with the collective.
Yeah.
Now the danger is that, you know, if somebody did that normally and they did it from 100, they'd go through V&E at the bottom and get into retreating blade stall. Retreating blade stall, this is your retreating blade stall.
That's the one.
Is your limiting factor.
Yeah. But because of rotation, is it like to do things to the left more than the right?
Yeah, it has a, the rigid rotors all have a phenomenon of called cyclic stick divergence. And if you get 60 knots or below, you do not want to exceed the bank angle of the airspeed. So 60 knots, 60 degrees bank, 40 knots, 40 degrees of bank. And what will happen is you'll run out of,
yeah.
And it's an aerodynamic phenomenon on the because of the rigid rotor not being able to flap properly when you do that. So we do everything to that direction.
Oh, cool.
Good. Loop.
I felt it really dig in the upper half of that.
That's because I'm pulling aft cyclic to get you. Can't really do a normal round loop, but what I'm doing is as I see the airspeed come below 80, then I come full aft cyclic to get it bend it over the top. Then as I come out the back and you felt the G build, I was using forward cyclic.
Yeah.
But all fairly gentleman aerobatics. Nothing really
it's nice.
crazy, and it's you take people for rides. I mean, there were 2.6.
Yeah.
And that's a half a G, nothing, you know.
Yeah.
So you as you get more comfortable with it, you can really modulate that and keep it down. And like you say, you bend the corner right around.
Yeah.
I raised the nose. I didn't pull any aft cyclic. I just pulled up collective.
Yeah.
That pitched the nose right back up where I wanted it. Yeah. And I'm using a little bit of anti-torque only to compensate for the collective. So there are no real aerodynamic issues from a standpoint with that.
We were going over the top. Was it trying to slice off a little bit?
Yeah. So what happened right there is I got really slow at the top,
Yeah.
and I had to lower a little bit of collective, and then it yawed a little bit, sliced right off the top. Usually I'm coming out of it with more. I'm coming out of more speed, and then you can carry a little more energy over the top.
First time I ever saw anything like this was I was an enlisted Marine, and they did an air power demo, you know, once we were on an exercise, and so the Apaches came in and they're shooting rockets and strafing, and then after they're done doing all that, there's other people too. After they're done, they come in and they do a little air show.
Yeah.
It's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah. The guy that taught me was the chief pilot for Boeing. He did all the air shows in those. So yeah, feel on the controls. You can feel what I'm doing in this roll just so you get an idea.
Yeah.
So there's right on altitude.
That's pretty amazing.
And you can do linked rolls, and you can do them at slower airspeed. Doesn't really matter. You just need a higher rate of up and down collective to control all that. So.
Well, on that one you started, and I noticed the other one too, your split S, you actually started more of a slice back and then converted it to a split S.
Yeah.
Is that just an artifact of what happens when you move the collective?
When you move the collective, yeah, what happens is you get a little bit of a yaw, and it's really strange because I try and anticipate it, but because I don't have a good reference,
right?
You don't have anything out in front of you, that's why I have this on here, right, to be able to help me pick that up. But a lot of times it's, here we'll do another one.
Yeah. Fascinating.
But anything much over 110, dynamic maneuvering in it, you're getting a lot of energy. You're getting close to this retreating blade stall.
That's amazing that you're doing all the, being an airplane guy. You're all doing it around 180 knots-ish. Now you start that split S at around 60. It's like, wow.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Yeah. You could do a loop in an F-15 at 250 knots, but all you do is you just get it going, and then it's just mass.
You're just floating it over the top?
Yeah, you float over the top, and then you recover on the bottom end. You're not in control of anything.
Really?
But you could do it.
Want to fly? Pretty much an airplane now. It's just sensitive. You'll be used to it being a fighter pilot guide. You have a coolie hat beep trim here if you want to use it. Those two big buildings in the distance beyond that little hill, that's what you're heading for, just to the right of those.
I'm flying, by the way, which is pretty wild.
Stellar traffic helicopter 105 is final 35 east taxiway, Stellar. You can shoot your approach down the runway if you want, and I'll help you through it.
Okay.
So what you want to start doing here is down collective, right pedal, and aft sight. Don't go any lower. We just want to trade off some of this airspeed. We want to get back to about 60 knots. Stellar traffic 105. The helicopter 105 is going to be landing 35 midfield, Stellar. A little more right pedal. Because we have so much down collective, hold it in trim. A little more aft cyclic. Don't lower any more collective with that. More right pedal. Go. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Right about here, you're going to add a little up collective. You're going to pitch the nose up and slow you down. Now forward cyclic. And a little more up collective. Forward cyclic, left pedal. Stay light on the pedal.
You have the airplane.
Okay, I have it. It's a little different in the hover. Okay, I have the pedals.